Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the AGL Transforming Gogeta, and we're going to see just how good he is at level 10 links, Rainbow, and under a 200% lead. So obviously he's one of the few characters I believe that got their 200% lead with Goku. I don't believe he fell under a 200% lead before. So we're going to see just how good he looks and how good that team is compared to other teams he originally was on. So obviously in terms of this guy, or in terms of this unit, he's a movie heroes category lead of 170% attack, 150% HP and defense, which is actually still pretty good. And he's a fusion category lead of 170% attack and HP and defense of 130%. He could get an easy A down the line, which is kind of why I want to cover this video before he gets an easy A, because I still think he's pretty useful in a lot of content actually. This Gogeta has attack and defense of 130%. He performs a critical hit when attacking. He has a high chance of evading the enemy's attack, including their super attack, or at least in his second form. In his base form, he has attack and defense of 100%, attacks effective against all types, medium chance of evading the enemy's super attacks, and he will transform from the 5th turn of battle. So in terms of his links and of his super attack effects, he just greatly raises attack in his base form and greatly raises it for 3 turns in his blue form. And in terms of links, he has pretty much the same links through and through. Same Warrior Race, Golden Warrior, Super Saiyan, Prepared for Battle, Over in a Flash, Fuse Fighter, Fierce Battle, and then you will replace Golden Warrior with Warrior Gods when you transform. He's on Final Trump Card, Fuse Fighters, Fusion, Movie Heroes, Power Beyond Super Saiyan, Powerful Comeback, Realm of the Gods, Super Saiyan's Time Limit and Transformation Boost. He never fell under the current 200% leads because he did not have Kamehameha, and they both cover Kamehameha, so very interesting unit, and a pretty good one at that. So we're going to try him out on the Powerful Comeback team first. You'll notice that I did a small fib. We are technically missing level 10 links on Fierce Battle and Over in a Flash. That does only amount to 1.2% attack, and I gotta be honest, I just didn't feel like doing a second video at level 10 links when a unit is only missing 1.2%. You're going to notice a very minute difference, and so I felt like it would just be better to essentially do the showcase. I can't get him to level 10 links because I wanted to just see how he did in the team, and honestly speaking, grinding the last 2 level 10 links to take a look at how well he does just didn't really feel necessary. So yeah, obviously he's under Powerful Comeback, which is a 200% leader skill from Goku. It's the first time we've had a 200% leader skill, so it's going to be interesting to see just how well he does. Remember, he does transform on turn 5, so there's quite a marketable difference between his base form and his turn 5 form. The base form, yeah, medium chance of evasion is 30%, which is decent. And he's got attacks effective against all types, which does help out. But where he's really strong is in that transformed state. Because in that state, he has guaranteed criticals, and he also has that huge 50% evasion. So he looks a lot better. 150k defense is also pretty good. Remember, we do have support on this rotation. Gohan brings a massive 50% defense from his support. But 2.5 in the attack stat, which is pretty good, honestly speaking. 2.5 is very solid, just considering how old the unit is. And it is attack effective against all types. So in theory, it's the same as a unit firing a 3.7 or 3.8 million attack stat. So honestly speaking, it's pretty good. The nice thing about him is you can build him full additionals, so he realistically can look very solid. To put this guy in perspective, I think with easy A stats, just the stats alone, this guy pretty much becomes the equivalent of the 3rd year LR units, basically. And I think he'll out damage them as well once he hits his 5th form. or his 5th turn once he evades, or transforms, sorry. So this guy is a very, very kind of strong unit. His kit is the kind of kit that when they easy aid, just with the stats alone, will look decent. But if they add a little bit more, they raise his attack and defense from 100% in his base to 150, and change his secondary form from 130 to 180, and then they, give him high chance in his base and great chance in his secondary form, this guy will be great. And just greatly raising attack and defense for 3 turns is also would help this guy out a lot. Like, there's very minute changes you could make to make this guy a very usable unit for a long period of time, because guaranteed crits are so powerful. So here we've got him lined up pretty nicely. We have 140 defense, which is pretty good, and we've got basically every link active. So we've got every single link we could need. 140k defense, which is solid. No support on the rotation, but I feel like it's still very decent. Obviously, 140k is not gonna hold up in the vast majority of endgame content, but the fact that this guy can evade and the sheer damage he does is very impressive. You look at the LR, okay, 90k defense, obviously, still beautiful animations, but then you look at this, Gogeta Blue, and he's right up there. He really does come out 3.3 guaranteed critical as well. Really nice animation, honestly speaking. I think it's really well done. And yeah, he just has that in his locker. And you can build him full additional. He'll greatly raise attack for 3 turns. So his next attack would be even stronger. We're looking at 3.7. If you get lucky with the additionals, he could even be hitting a 4 mil crit. Guaranteed, which is very good. So this guy, he looks really solid, but now how much did the 200% leader skill help him? Well, obviously on that team you saw we had some pretty good units for him, but we didn't necessarily have a lot of support.
Let's do this.
But does the support matter so much? Well, we're going to see. We're going to run him basically with just a whole bunch of support. We're going to run him on a movie boss's team. He's got a very good cross skill here, movie heroes team. He's got his obviously attack of 170%. He's basically got 170% from the ally. But of course, remember, he doesn't have that 200% leader skill. So he's just running basically on 170% attack and 160% HP and defense. So we're going to get a pretty nice idea of how well he does here. Here we're fortunate in that we have a lot of support. But generally speaking, you don't need support all the time, especially if you're running under a much higher lead skill. And that's what's going to be interesting to see here. It's also important to note that his link set is actually very crucial to his attack. He has a very high attack focused link set. Same where Race is 10%, Super Saiyans 15%, Prepare for Battle is 5, Overrun and Flash is 7, Fuse Fighter is 5, and Fierce Battle is 20. So you're going to see a big difference between Goku getting his links active and not getting his links active. You can see here that obviously Gogeta, I should say, not Goku, only a 1.5 million attack stat. Really nothing too impressive, and we're not operating under a massively hindered lead. We're technically running at 170% attack, but just no links means no real good time overall. So that's kind of where you can see how just running supports doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to see a better version of a unit. You need to really cater to that unit depending on how they function. You can't just slap a whole bunch of support and expect them to operate pretty well. You want to get their links, you want to get their support, you want to put them in the right positions. Gogeta could still be usable as a floater because of his evasion. I still think he could be very useful as a floater on a team. Obviously, if you're going to take on some super hard content, it's probably unlikely to take him. But if you look at things like Cell Max, where you basically die anyway if you get hit by Cell Max, the thing is, you might as well take him, because chances are he'll do huge damage. His 4 million crits will still hit Cell Max very hard, because crits will circumnavigate the type disadvantage. So his critting will still help you out big time. And like I said, his evasion might kick in. He might evade all of Cell's attacks. So here we've got him 130,000-ish defense. We have a lot of support on the rotation. Obviously, we're just catching up basically to the leader skill with the support, essentially. And you'll see that his defense never really exceeds what we had with support under the 200% leader skill. So that's the thing, is like you can say, okay, we don't get much support on the powerful comeback team, but we do get, well, essentially we do get a pretty solid showing from him. Like, we do get that huge kind of boost overall, and obviously with just Strength Gohan, you get enough defensive support to really push him to kind of a new place. So obviously, I think this guy looks pretty good. I think he still is usable in a lot of content, as long as the evasion's not disabled. His slightly lower defense for the current meta won't matter too much. Obviously, he'll still take damage when he gets hit. In some events, like Cell Max, he'll just outright die. But the thing is, you should generally have a pretty decent enough time with him as a unit to kind of, I guess, if like validate using him. Me personally, I like him still. I think he's solid. Guaranteed crits and 3 and 4 million attack stats are very good here. This is a good situation for him. We've got 6 links active with this Goku, by the way, who's one of the best tanks against movie bosses. So good pairing here. And we've got support from Pycon. So we can't tell his defense, but it's probably close to the highest we've had. You can see the evasion kicks in 2 times, and then unfortunately doesn't for the super. So it does show you the risks. You know, you can get the evasion, then not get it. 3.5 million, very, very solid. We're going to get a really nice attack stat here. And yeah, we basically just eliminate Vegeta. Again, if we got the additional super attack, we would have been looking at 3.7 maybe. So Gogeta can hit pretty decently, and that will stack for 1 turn, which makes him pretty reliable. Well, 3 turns, sorry, which means the next turn he would have hit even higher. So you can definitely get to that 4 million bracket with him. And yeah, maybe it's the 1.2% I'm missing on my links, but yeah, he definitely looks very solid to me. Now, in terms of his links, that's where you are going to have a pretty decent time, I think. His link set is very strong. He links well with a ton of Super Saiyan characters. He has Prepared for Battle, which is great. He has Fierce Battle, Super Saiyan, Saiyan Warrior Race, all very, very common links. He then has Golden Warrior in his base form, and of course he has Warrior Gods in his Super Saiyan Blue form. He has Over in a Flash as well, and Fused Fighter. Over in a Flash is a lot more useful with certain units. It's a little bit of a more chaotic link set, whereas Fused Fighter obviously just helps him with fused fighter teams, fusion teams. So I think for the most part he looks pretty solid. I think in terms of link set, he has enough of a good link set to be paired up with pretty much anyone. If you look at these 4 links alone, he has a huge number of partners that you can link him up with. When you start adding even more links, he still has a ton of partners. So one thing I've always liked about this unit is his ability to link up well with a ton of other units. He even links up well with the new Super Saiyan Goku. So the brand new Super Saiyan Goku, this guy shares 5 links with him. So you can see he's a very big value unit. Now, I'm not saying he's an ideal unit to link up with all these guys for every single bit of content, but he's a hell of a fun unit to use. And if you're a new player and you have this guy and you have Super Saiyan Goku, or maybe you want to run him on your Goku's family, or sorry, your Super Saiyan team, there are plenty of great teams to run this guy on. And he's going to do huge damage. He's going to be very useful, and I think he's great. I genuinely still really like Super Saiyan Gogeta. Much like the Int Golden Frieza, who was still a highly usable unit, under his 200% leader skill. I think AGL Gogeta is like that as well. Yeah, as long as evasion is active in the event, he's going to be okay. We all take damage if he gets hit, but that's the gamble you take. But his damage is definitely still worth bringing. 3.5, 4 million crits are very, very tasty. You look at Cooler, and the excitement of Cooler is his big attack stats, but they don't mean much if you don't crit. Whereas with Gogeta, you just crit. You just crit and crit and crit and crit all the time. And 5 turns in, maybe not ideal for Super Battle Road, but tons of events, long, hard events, go past 5 turns now. Cell Max, Red Zone, all of them go past 5 turns. So in future, this guy with the ZZA, he's going to be a beast. But you can still use him in a ton of content. I think he's a great choice for Cell Max personally. I'm going to try him out in there. We're going to see how well he does. I think he's a very solid, very exciting choice that we could possibly use in that event. So I'm super interested to see just how well he does. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it on Gogeta. I think that's everything we need to cover. He's a great unit, so enjoy using him, and if you do have him, give him a try. Maybe you'll find that he's just that bit of damage that you need. But yeah, that's going to be it for me, and bye.